All right. Well, good evening. My name is Lance. I'm the North Dakota Carnivore. How are you doing tonight? Um, Tonight is no different than any other night, I guess. It's just a middle of the week. Had a wonderful week so far. I had a ribeye steak for. I had lunch today. Was my big meal, and then um, got home and I had something small just to have something to eat. It's just different not eating at night. But I'm trying to have my bigger meal the middle of the day so it's not causing blood glucose issues at night when I sleep. Um, the last 2 months that I've worn a continuous glucose monitor, and I've noticed that at night, if I eat too late, my glucose stays high all night long. When I ate earlier in the day, it stayed better throughout the night. And I just want to try to get that there and try to keep it, more normal instead of a high level for all night when I'm not really doing anything. It shouldn't be high. And then I want to come on and address some stuff that I've heard many times. Um, and people don't understand how just eating meat can be cheaper than the standard American diet. Well, today I had a ribeye. Um, the ribeye I had is just over a pound, and I paid $13.99 a pound. So there's $13 for my food today for that part. I did have a couple eggs today, so that's what, another 25 cents each. So it's not that bad. It's 14.50 now, and then a few slices of bacon, so another $1.50. Or looking at what would that be? 15.50 for me to eat today. That's not bad. If I had the standard American diet, what would I be eating today? I'd be eating the same ribeye, potatoes, corn, flavored drink, pop. And this is just sparkling water in a can. But I'd be spending a lot more money just eating just that for a dinner would cost more than what I spent all day. Because there'd be breakfast and there'd be lunch and there'd be snacks, and it's eating the carnivore diet. If you're just eating meat, you don't have all the other sides that go with it. You don't have all the other carbohydrates that go with it. You're just eating the meat. If you eat the fatty meat, which you should, you'll stay full longer. So you don't eat nearly as much. I can eat extremely well for less than $20 a day. That's easy to do. I can eat very well for less than $10 a day. I ground up a brisket in the ground beef. I paid $4.69 for the brisket a pound. I used every bit of that brisket to make ground beef, the fat and everything. I ground it all up. It's all mixed together. I can have a pound of that for $4.69. I can have 2 pounds for under $10. That's nothing. You can't even go to McDonald's and get a meal for fucking $10. So it's not more expensive. It's actually cheaper and will save you money if you eat this way. The added benefits of it, coming off of medications, healing your type 2 diabetes, healing hypertension, getting off of blood pressure medications, allergies going away. I have family members right now who are suffering from allergies. I don't know one who has allergies, who's had allergies for 30 plus years, and I'm not suffering from allergies this year. I don't have them. My wife has been eating almost exclusively carnivore. She's reversed her type 2 diabetes. It's an amazing way to eat, and it's amazing that it'll do this to your body. My wife she's more of the dairy, the butter, the cheeses, and the stuff like that. She has lost some weight, but her body composition is changing. She looks really good. She didn't lose. She may have lost 5 or 6 pounds, and that's it. And the 8 months, 9 months that she's been doing this, she hasn't lost a lot of weight. She looks really good though, but her body's changed. She's got muscle and where it didn't used to be. She doesn't realize it, but she does, and she looks really good. I have lost a lot of weight. I was extremely obese. Now I'm just overweight. I can handle that. Last time I stepped on the scale, I was 224 pounds. That's where I was, a few months ago. I don't mind that. That's where my body wants to be and where I'm going to stay at. That's fine. Would I like to get lower? Yes, I would. Do I want? I don't care where I go. I didn't do this diet to lose weight. I did this diet to get off my blood pressure medicine. See if it would help with that. And I was off of those in 6 weeks. And then I felt fantastic. All the little aches and pains that I had are gone. So it's a lot better on this diet. But you're eating just meat, so you're not paying for all the extra stuff. 80-20 ground beef. There's nothing wrong with 80-20 ground beef. If you're concerned about how many different animals are in your 80-20, then get yourself a brisket. Get a meat grinder. Grind it up yourself. Then it's only one. If you're tired of eating ground beef, buy a brisket, cook a brisket. You don't have to have a smoker. You can cook it in the oven the same way that you do on a smoker, just without the smoke. You just season it. It still builds a bark. It still gets tender. It just doesn't have the smoke. Eggs. Eggs are cheap. The price has gone down on eggs. Most places, if the eggs haven't gone down in your state, I'd take a look at who's running your state then. Because it should be going down. Fish, salmon, shrimp, cod. It's not as fatty as a ribeye. It's not as fatty as ground beef. You might have to add more fat to it. You might have to cook it in butter. You might have to serve it with butter. Maybe some tallow or some lard. But no seed oil. Don't use the seed oil. That's not good for you. No dressings, no bullshit like that. But you want the fatty meats. Even the seafood, you want it to be fatty. Now, you're probably not going to go out and find whale blubber, but that's what they used to eat was the blubber. I mean, that's what they wanted because that's what kept people alive. And even in the ruminant animals, you want the fat. You want the fatty bacon. I like my bacon crispy. I also like it some days where it's not crispy and it's just still got all the fat that hasn't been rendered out of it. Some days that's what I want. That's what my body wants. when I buy the ribeye or the rib roast and I cut it into ribeyes, I don't trim the fat down. I leave the fat on it, and I eat a lot more of that fat than I used to. I can tell you that. I don't eat it all. Some of it I do get rid of because some of it, to me, is not edible. But I don't trim the fat. I try to eat everything I can. When you get to that point where you can't eat the fat because it's too tough, too chewy, that's the part I don't eat. If I can chew it and it goes, I eat it. It's the best part. Um, a trimmed ribeye gives you a 75-25 fat to protein ratio, so it's almost perfect. What I'm getting is probably closer to 85% of my calories from fat because of the amount of fat that I'm eating with it. It's a lot more than what you get if you get a trimmed ribeye, that's for sure. But it's the fat, and that's what you want. You want to keep that fat. That's actually what your body really needs. You can actually eat just the fat and not have any protein for a long time. You can't eat a lot of protein without fat. That actually causes problems. But it's a lot cheaper to eat the fat and brisket than it is just to eat an everyday meal that you normally would be eating. So think about what you're spending on everything that you're buying. You can't get a meal at a fast food place that's of any quality that's cheap anymore. They're not cheap. They're more expensive than some restaurants, and it's disgusting food. It really is. Now, I'm going to switch the gear on here. Um, the official trailers for the Healing Humanity movie are out now. Um, Carrie Mann, Adam Lacey, and Dr. Barry kicked off the uh, screenings of the Healing Humanity trailer today. It's a great trailer. You can go to healinghumanity.movie. You can look at the trailer on that. Absolutely fabulous job by Carrie and Adam. Um, all the people in the trailers, they've got like 15 different segments are coming out with people who are in the trailer where they're going to be talking to them behind the scene kind of thing for about an hour each. Some really good information, some really cool stuff that people are on there are talking about. So a lot of the people that I watched before I actually started my carnivore diet are in those trailers. So it's kind of cool to look at them and see. Tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Central Time, they're going to be doing their interview with Dr. Kiltz. So for his 5 a.m. meetup, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing their little spot with Dr. Kiltz. And so we get to see Kiltzy on Healing Humanity tomorrow. Or on Kiltzy's channel, Dr. Kiltz on his YouTube channel. Check it out, healinghumanity.movie. I have a link on my posts here on YouTube. I have a link on X. I have a link on Facebook. So if you know where I'm at on any of those, you can check them out. But give them some love. Go check out their information. Check out what's going on with it. It's a lot of good stuff that they're doing with this Healing Humanity and with the movie. Hopefully it's early 2026 that they get the movie out. I was very interested in seeing it. They went all around the world interviewing people. And then they went back for a second time, like a year later, to interview the same people and how they were doing on their carnivore journey. It's some really interesting stuff, some really interesting people. All right, so I'm going to switch gears one more time here. Last week I did a 5-day fast, um, and I fasted Monday through Friday. I broke my fast Friday night with a couple eggs and some bacon. And Saturday I had um, a few smaller meals, and I thought I'd be able to go back into my alternate day fasting after that. Sunday came and said, no, my body said, no, you've got to feed us. You just fasted for 5 days. Now you got to feed us for a couple more days just to get the energy back up and get that body moving again. So Sunday, I tried fasting, and it wasn't until Sunday evening I made my wife pork tenderloin, and there was 2 pork tenderloins. They're each about a pound and a half each. So I had 3 pounds of pork tenderloin that I threw on the smoker, and I smoked that up. And when I was smoking that, that's when my body started talking to me, saying that I was going to have to eat some of that. And it took almost 2 hours to cook that on the smoker, but man, was that good. So I ate one of the tenderloins. I ate a pound and a half of pork tenderloin, and I wasn't full. I wasn't satisfied. I was still hungry, and I didn't have anything else out for me to eat because I wasn't planning on eating. So I had to run to the store. I picked up a pack of the pre-done chuck burgers, and it was about a pound and a half of burger. So I tossed those on the grill, and I ate another pound and a half of that, and then I was sufficiently stuffed. I've seen several people on here say that you eat until you're comfortably stuffed, or you eat until the meat doesn't taste good anymore. I don't get that. It always tastes good to me. And by the time I realize that I'm full, I'm fucking stuffed. So I don't get that signal that tells me, hey, this doesn't taste good anymore, you should stop eating. To me, it always tastes good. And that's a problem I've always had. I buy that pound and a half strip of salmon. And, I'll cook that all up at one time. And the plan is always to put half of it away and, eat half. And I always end up eating the whole thing and a pound of ground beef. And I'm miserable for the rest of the night. That happened to me with the smoked tenderloin and the ground beef patties. I just didn't feel they never tasted bad. It never went from, man, this is a good piece of meat and it's got a lot of flavor, to, it doesn't taste good, I don't want to eat it. It stayed good the whole time. And then I felt like my belly was out to here. Well, it wasn't. You couldn't even tell I was full. But I felt like I was miserable for hours. So some people have that, some people don't. I apparently don't have that because I don't know when that signal doesn't flip, go, hey, you're full. Doesn't do that for me. But I know I can eat 3 pounds of meat and extra butter, because the pork tenderloin doesn't have a lot of fat, so there's always that extra butter. Butter bites. Of course, when I made the burgers, I put tallow on top of them after they come off the grill. I bring them in the house and I put some tallow on top of them and melt it into there so that they're moist and juicy and delicious. So you always have to have that extra fat. But do you get that signal? When you're eating, do you get the signal that says, hey, you're full, this doesn't taste good, put it away so you can have that tomorrow? Or are you like me that every bite I eat, it tastes fucking good? Or let me know. I'm curious to how other people have it going on for them, because to me it's just weird that I don't get that signal. So, but that's about all I got to talk about tonight. End of the summer's coming. I've been on Carnivore now for just over a year. Doing fabulous. I've came off of all my medications. I didn't take medications I was supposed to take before I started Carnivore, so I don't actually count those. I was supposed to be taking statins. I was supposed to be taking these fish pills that were prescription. I was supposed to be taking some other weight loss medication, and then 5 blood pressure medications, and then there was over-the-counter stuff I was supposed to be taking because of the statins. You got to take the CoQ10 and whatever else and blah blah. I had a list of meds I was supposed to be taking. The only stuff I was taking was for my blood pressure, and I was taking 5 blood pressure medications to get my blood pressure kind of in order. And it wasn't. Within 6 weeks of being on the carnivore diet, I came off of all 5 of my blood pressure medications. I came off of my allergy medications. I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped drinking coffee. I brought coffee back because I like coffee. And I sleep so much better. My mood is so much better. My anxieties are gone. I am a happy person. I'm 58 years old. All the aches and pains that I had that I used to think were because I'm getting old, they're gone. I wake up in the morning and I'm fresh. I'm ready for the day. I get out of bed and my feet don't hurt. My knees don't hurt. My hip and back don't hurt. My neck doesn't hurt. I used to have to sit at the edge of my bed for forever, it seemed like, and slowly get out of bed, stand there for a minute to get my feet so that they weren't hurting so much so I could walk, and limp to the bathroom to take my shower in the morning. Stand under hot water for a long time just to be able to move. I don't do that anymore. I get out of bed and I'm ready to go. It's such an amazing feeling. And then my general overall happiness, it's weird. I'm happy. And to me, that's weird because it's just a weird way. It's an amazing feeling to be properly regulated, hormoned person. Is basically what it is. You eat the fat, your body makes the hormones that your body needs to do everything, and it makes you a happy person. Why don't you give it a try? Let me know if you try it. Comment. So, it's about all I have. I'm going to head out. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.